Getting ready for your first trip to Paris? If so, you should start with these top 10 sites and famous places to visit. These are the historical, artistic, and well-known places that everyone thinks of when they think of Paris. For many visitors, these are the top places to see in Paris. Don't feel like you have to see them all in one trip, especially if you will only be here for a few days. Some of these top Paris attractions, like the tall Eiffel Tower, the beautiful Seine River, the huge Arc de Triomphe, and even the bright white Sacre-Coeur on a hill, are part of the Paris skyline and can be seen from many places in the city, even if you don't go there. Think about taking a quick day trip to a famous place just outside the city, like the Palace of Versailles or Disneyland Paris. But also take some time to walk around a famous area like the Latin Quarter or Montmartre. You can take it easy in the lovely Luxembourg Garden. Take a ride along the Seine at sunset. Take some time to look at Notre Dame Cathedral. Due to the terrible fire in 2019, you can only see the outside of the building now. But part of the beautiful church may be open to the public by 2024, thanks to the huge restoration work that is going on right now. And plan to go to at least one of the most famous museums in Paris so you can see their works for yourself. Visit the Louvre to see the Mona Lisa and Venus de Milo, the Orsay to see Van Gogh's Starry Night, and the Pompidou to see cutting-edge modern art. Lastly, save some time to see some of Paris's less well-known or even hidden sites, even if it means skipping some of the places on this page. You can always go there on your next trip to Paris, and in the meantime, you'll have lots of great experiences. 1. Eiffel Tower, Tour Eiffel, the #1 attraction in Paris. The Eiffel Tower is a sign of Paris. It stands high above the city and can be seen from 3 different levels. Many tourists put getting to the top of the Eiffel Tower at the top of their list of must-see places in Paris, France, and for good reason. Even though you can see the famous landmark from many places in the city, nothing beats the thrill of going up to the viewing platforms and watching Paris landmarks get smaller and smaller below you. Book an expert photo shoot in front of the famous landmark to remember your trip for the rest of your life. Just want to see this well-known place in Paris? A cruise on the Seine River is the best way to see it, and many other famous buildings and museums along the river. 2. Louvre Museum, Musée du Louvre, the most visited museum in the world. Over 10 million people visit the Louvre Museum each year, making it the most popular museum in the world. It is located in the first arrondissement of Paris, which is also referred to as Royal Paris. The Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci, the Venus de Milo, and the Winged Victory of Samothrace, commonly known as the Winged Nike. Indeed, the Winged Nike was the idea for the iconic athletic shoe company, are 3 of the most famous pieces of art that can be found in the Louvre. The popularity of these paintings is largely responsible for the museum's success. However, there is so much more to see in the Louvre, such as a great Egyptian collection that even has mummies, gallery after gallery of European paintings dating from the Middle Ages to the middle of the 19th century, and brilliant chambers filled with exquisite furniture, tapestries, and ornamental objects. The elaborate Renaissance architecture of the previous royal palace is contrasted by glass pyramids designed by I.M. Pei and built in the 20th century, and a reflecting pool located outside. 3. Versailles Palace, the most visited royal palace in France. The Palace of Versailles is one of the largest buildings in the world, as it has more than 700 rooms. When you visit the Palace of Versailles, you will receive an unparalleled look into the lives of royalty, including King Louis XIV and Marie Antoinette, as well as the shimmering hall of mirrors, magnificently furnished chambers, and priceless paintings. It is not difficult to kill a significant portion of the day or the entire day here. 4. Latin Quarter, Quartier Latin. Spend some time around the Latin Quarter appreciating its many attractions to get a feel for the more traditional side of Paris. This historic district on the left bank, which was first populated by Romans in the 1st century, has for a very long time attracted bohemians, scholars, and political protesters. If you look carefully, you can still see remnants of medieval Paris in the crooked, winding alleyways and older buildings throughout the city. Visit the tombs of French heroes and intellectuals at the Pantheon. Have a drink at the brasseries along Boulevard Saint-Germain, where Hemingway, Sartre, and Camus hung out during the 1920s, and take in the ageless beauty of the Lady and the Unicorn tapestries at the Cluny Museum. 5. Seine River, beaches, cruises, and more. The Seine River runs through the middle of Paris, dividing the city into two distinct banks, the right bank to the north and the left bank to the south. The Île de la Cité, which is one of two small islands in the center, is the historic core of Paris. On this island, you'll find world-famous medieval masterpieces, hidden parks, and exquisite enclaves from the 17th century. There are a lot of different ways to take pleasure in the Seine. Take a stroll along the banks and take in the sight of the stunning bridges. Visit the riverside bookshops known as Les Bouquinistes, which are located on both sides of the Seine River. Visit the Parc Rive de Seine, a riverbank promenade that is solely open to pedestrian traffic and runs from the Place de la Bastille to the Eiffel Tower. Take a tour boat ride up and down the river to get a fresh perspective on some of the most stunning historic buildings and bridges that Paris has to offer. On a riverside barge, you can dine and dance the night away. Relax while you take a dip in a pool that floats. Be sure to pay a visit to Les Berges, the recreational area that runs along the river on the left bank. During the summer, it comes alive with activity. 6. Monmartre and Sacre-Coeur. Even though Montmartre has been an integral part of Paris since 1860, it nevertheless has the feel of a distinct community due to its twisting alleyways, abundant tree cover, and attractive hillside terrain. You can take a trip through the area, which is filled with numerous cafes and cabarets, and think about the artists, musicians, and writers who made it their home more than a century ago, when rentals were much more affordable. The sparkling white basilica of the Sacré-Cœur, which was constructed in the Italian Byzantine style and is visible from most sites in Paris, is the most well-known site in the city. Tourists frequently congregate in the regions surrounding Sacré-Cœur and the Moulin Rouge Theatre in Pigalle. Nevertheless, they tend to overlook the most intriguing sections of the neighborhood, such as the modest art museums and parks, pedestrian-only lanes, and a few of windmills from an earlier era. 7. Musée d'Orsay. The Musée d'Orsay, which is housed in a building that was formerly used as a train station, is home to an outstanding collection of artwork from the Impressionist and Post-Impressionist periods. The most well-known masterpieces, such as those painted by Monet, Renoir, Cézanne, Gauguin, and Van Gogh, whose painting of Starry Night draws the largest crowds of all, draw significant numbers of visitors to the museums and galleries that display them. 8. Arc de Triomphe. Napoleon, who had been banished and had passed away by the time the gigantic Arc de Triomphe was finished in 1836, had commissioned the structure in 1806 to honor his army's conquests across Europe. Although Napoleon was dead by the time the structure was finished, it is one of the most well-known landmarks in Paris. The Arc de Triomphe is located in the middle of a bustling traffic roundabout at the intersection of 12 main streets, one of which is the western terminus of the Champs-Élysées. Although it is possible to have a good look at it from a distance, getting up close will provide you with the most interesting perspectives and experiences. On the first Sunday of every month, often known as car-free Sundays, the Champs-Élysées are closed to vehicular traffic and opened only to pedestrians. 9. Pompidou Center, Centre Pompidou. When it initially opened, the Pompidou Center was met with shouts of scorn because of its avant-garde design, which included outside walls of vividly colored tubes and exposed mechanical systems. The city was replete with conventional architecture at the time. Even after half a century has passed, the architecture of the skyscraper that was created by architects Renzo Piano and Richard Rogers is still easily recognizable in the urban landscape. But once inside, to save time, purchase a skip-the-line ticket before you go. You'll find that the museum's incredible appeal is due to the ever-changing exhibitions that feature cutting-edge modern paintings, sculptures, as well as video and sound installations. 10. Luxembourg Garden, Jardin du Luxembourg. The Luxembourg Garden is Paris's most popular park because of its towering chestnut trees, peaceful pool where children and teens and adults float toy sailboats, and many benches for lounging among lush flowers and gorgeous statues. In addition, the Luxembourg Garden is one of the largest parks in Paris. And that's quite a distinction when you consider that there are 448 other municipal parks, and 2 major forests to pick from. Despite the large number of people who attend, the Luxembourg Garden rarely gives off the impression that it is crowded since its 60 acres are split up into so many different sections. Even tennis can be played in this location.